Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Encased. We are at Carmine Heights. We are here for the Maelstrom beacons, and the Raisoners want us to run a few errands first before they will give them to us. We already took care of getting some items for the isosuit, and right now we need to take care of a plumbing problem. Apparently this community of scientists and engineers doesn't know how to fix a plumbing problem. So that's up to us. We need to talk to the lab, canteen and farm staff and set up the distiller according to their instructions. Let's talk to the farm staff first. Right, some Atlas lettuce. Genetically modified plant containing a huge amount of vitamins and minerals. And a fair share of the Carmine Heights economy apparently rests on this. Let's take a sample. Not a lot of staff present here. Terminal is running some kind of data recording program that controls the irrigation system. Status line is displaying reservoirs insufficiently filled, cannot perform morning watering cycle. No useful data. Doesn't appear to be anyone present here. So I'm not sure who we should talk to at the farm. We don't really need beer. Can we make something with the lettuce? Apparently not. Maybe this guy works at the farm. Small, energetic old man, Barleyman Butterbur, patched on his sleeve. Just awful, blight in the raw. I wonder if there will be enough supplies this season. When you walk up, he startles and sticks the cause of his worries under your nose. That looks like a daikon root, but with larger, more developed leaves.
How can I help?
What a nuisance. The Atlas turned out bad. That's our biggest crop. Oh right, you're not local. I'll let you in on the secret. It's all about the water shortage. They're hoarding water, the crops don't get enough. What a disaster. can also still ask the residents about the Zemeckis' candidacy. He wants to run for mayor here. I think we already finished that side quest. Zemeckis wanted us to do a poll, basically, in order to improve his chances to win, but I don't think we will give him that information because we actually do not want him to win.
Later.
So the farm staff isn't present. We cannot really get their instructions on setting up the distiller. We did find the terminal at the farm. Well, alright, here is some sort of a little bit of information on what the farm needs. Apparently they need more water in the morning. That's useful. Next up, the lab.
Welcome back.
The next prototype will be completely different, I swear. Maybe we'll even ditch the servo shell and put everything in a small backpack. There's an ocean of opportunities. So how's the work on the outer suit progressing? It's much peppier than before. It's unlikely we'll develop another prototype anytime soon, but the progress we made here is enormous. We couldn't have done it without you. So, right now we are working on the Carmine Heights water problem. Are you getting enough water? It's not a secret. Our water supply is fucked up. Apparently, in the morning and throughout the day we are getting hardly any water, but in the evening the pressure is so high the radiators can't take it. We need water to cool our equipment. But with the constant interruptions, it's almost useless.
Good luck.
Laboratory staff told you that water is required constantly, but in small quantities. Rose Dillard, what are you doing in the lab? I think this was the...
Why do you keep bothering me?
aggressive orange. For real now? Sure you're not from Neocon? Back away carefully. No sudden moves. I think with the fight with the hyenas she was throwing molotovs, setting fellow citizens on fire. And finally we need to talk to Ashton Nyberg. A crooked, limping and awkward man. Ashton Nyberg.
I don't like you.
Alright then. You're gonna stand there hemming and hawing? Get over here. If you're hungry, just say so. Stop tormenting my soul with your sorry mark. Well, let's see what he thinks about Zemeckis. That candidate ain't no candidate at all for me. All he wants is power. If he gets it, he'll immediately relax. And what would come of that? Nothing good. So we are working on the water problem. How are things in the kitchen? Bad, frankly. Not even my ex could bring me down like this. It feels as if I'm losing all pace in my heart. I'm thinking about complaining to Johan in person, so that son of a bitch can see how bad it is. It's okay in the morning, where there's no dishes to wash. The water trickles from the tap, but it's just enough for cooking. In the evening, when it's time to wash the dishes, there's barely enough. The afternoon is our peak time, and as luck would have it, that's when things really start to go wrong. We need the water most during the daytime, maybe even more than anyone else. You know, I'm the kindest critter there is. Like a kitten but without a tail, but the way the water flows during the day, well, it's plain infuriating. Do something about it, will you? Well, we are trying to do something. So the distiller needs to be configured. With the farm needing more in the morning. The lab needing water constantly, but in small quantities, and the diner needs water in the afternoon. All right. Let's set it up. According to those instructions. Gordon Neumann. Well, let's talk to him first. Tall, unshapely guy with a cigarette in his teeth, reluctantly looks up from his kairos. He looks as if he is having a hard time understanding where he is and what's going on.
I'm listening.
Gordon Neumann, Red Spaceship Software, not red as in Soviet, just red, like Carmine. Carmine Heights, get it? No, you don't. Can I help you? Sure, what do you think about Zemeckis? I don't know, I don't understand much in politics. What does he think of video games? I mean, maybe he's alright. Well, thank you, Gordon, for that insight. Distiller control panel, that is what we are looking for. In front of you is a primitive computer with a small two-color display and simple control panel. The device's side panel is embossed with a rusty logo of a mermaid. This computer is responsible for water distribution in Carmine Heights. Very good. Select the intake and adjust the program using the manual switches. Or we can just use our tech ability. Open the water tank and modify it to distribute the water automatically. Might as well. You are knowledgeable enough about such systems to reconfigure the equipment as needed. Now the water will be distributed as efficiently as possible. The shelter's laboratory, farm and kitchen will no longer suffer any water shortages. Very good. So now we need to report back to Johan, I guess. And then hopefully he will give us the things we need. The Maelstrom beacons, of course.
Johan is standing by the workbench, digging into some kind of device. This mechanism, resembling the insides of a folding umbrella, must be the Maelstrom beacon.
Alright. Well, Johan, the distiller has been adjusted.
Johan nods gratefully.
Yes, I was informed. The irrigation systems on the farm are working at full capacity, and the lab has all the water it needs too. You did a great job, thank you. I didn't forget our agreement. While you were solving Carmine Heights' problems, I took care of the beacons. You can find them in the safe.
He hands you a key.
Alright. Very good. Thank you very much.
Johan grabs your sleeve.
I'd like to invite you to a family dinner, as a token of my gratitude. Will you come?
Well, alright then, Johan.
He shakes your hand.
Perfect. Come anytime. Olivia loves to cook, so it's no problem if you just drop in.
That's very convenient. Well, we accept your dinner invitation.
The blue responds with a small smile.
Great, then what are we waiting for? Come to the table. We were just sitting down.
You join Johan and Olivia at the wide table. Set out upon the light blue tablecloth are a white porcelain bowl of green soup with glassy onion rings, a scalded Atlas salad, roast beef and gravy, and fluffy white bread. The meal is almost a feast by Baron's standards, and surprisingly abundant, considering that most of it is prepared from mutant lettuce. Sitting between you and her husband, Olivia takes Johan's left hand and your right.
Let us pray. Repeat after me. God bless this meal.
Johan sighs loudly.
Oh, pray for what, Olivia? For the dome, or maybe for Maelstrom to disappear? We're doing science here, not some religious shamanism.
The blonde laughs softly and elbows Johan.
But honey, it's tradition. Of course, we all believe in science here. Okay, no prayer today. Let's eat.
Alright.
Help yourself, please.
Olivia murmurs, serving you more salad.
You know I cook a lot. I'm good at it too. But Johan barely eats anything. He's always busy with his inventions and science. Well, that's common enough, I guess. More sauce?
Johan stops eating for a moment.
You know, I have to listen to this every single day. I don't think food should be fetishized, and dinner shouldn't be taken to mean gorging oneself. Dinner is an occasion to come together and talk. How did you spend your family gatherings?
It was a bunch of relatives engaged in small talk. Family gatherings were cozy and private. They were typically very solemn, seemed more like black tie events. Or due to personal circumstances, we had no family gatherings. Well, It was a bunch of relatives engaged in small talk.
Reisner nods absently.
Well, you see, Olivia, that's what I was saying. Family dinner is a symbol, a tradition. It has nothing to do with food.
He notes in a subdued tone, picking at his salad. Olivia forces a smile. A menacing silence hangs over the table. It's as if you're in the center of a storm that's about to break out. Olivia's fork trembles in her hand.
So maybe it was a bad idea to accept the dinner invitation.
So quaint to bring up the topic of family, and also timely.
She says assertively, emphasizing the word family. She flirtatiously primps her hair and looks straight at you.
Since we're talking about family, did you ever notice how your mother looked when she was tired? I remember mine. Always thought she was hysterical. It was only when I had my own family that I realized why my mother always looked like a walking corpse. Sometimes on weekends, she would take a book into the garden and just lie there not moving. What was your mother like?
Very active, lively and ruddy. She headed the household on her own. Tough, lonely careerist. A very strong personality. Vulnerable, whiny and weak. Always annoyed and exhausted. Oh, we didn't know our mother. Let's go with tough, lonely careerist. Very strong personality.
Olivia grows thoughtful.
Maybe her life was easier than my mother's. Than mine is. I remember my mom's hands. They were so thin, like a witch's. She had a young face and old hands. She always kept them hidden. You know why that is. It's my father. He was slowly sucking life out of her like some vampire, but I never realized it until I myself got married.
She casts a meaningful glance at Johann, making him squirm.
At least now you're not pretending that we're not talking. Surely our guest's presence has a positive influence on you?
Olivia sets her fork aside and gives you a look of contentment.
As a child, I naturally didn't notice anything amiss about my parents. And yes, I loved my dad. Now I realize I was unconsciously looking for a companion exactly like him. And I found one. A too similar one, even. Just as serious, just as private, just as unable to listen. So similar, in fact, that
Johann noisily pushes his plate aside.
I think you're straying from the subject at hand. We were talking about traditions.
Olivia grins ruefully.
Oh yes, I was describing our main tradition, which we both borrowed from our parents and brought to our own family. We're the same as them, and our marriage is like this because you, Johann, don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to listen. You think everything aside from your work is insignificant. If that was only our concern, I'd endure it like I've been doing for many years now. But we have Carmine Heights, and it is about to crumble. Just because we can't agree on some things. God knows I didn't want to bring an outsider into this conversation, but since you are not listening to me, maybe you'll listen to what the employee has to say?
She's looking at you, desperate for some support.
Yeah, let's not take sides here. Side with Johan. Dinner would have been a lot nicer and quieter if Olivia didn't throw a tantrum. Well, Johan has got a point, I guess. Side with Olivia, she's trying to save both her family and the settlement. Thank them for the dinner. I'll be leaving. Don't want to get involved in your quarrels. Let's take the middle road. Everyone in this situation is right in their own way. Olivia sounds reasonable, but Johan probably has his own view on the situation, which he's chosen not to share.
Johann nods seriously.
Yes, of course. We're engaged in completely different tasks, each focused on our own strengths. I conduct and supervise scientific research, while Olivia is busy with politics and the economy. Are things really so bad that the settlement needs to be saved? What I've been trying to say is that we've got a stable and rational system.
I was talking about something else. Yet again, he isn't listening.
Olivia mutters under her breath. Her eyes are overwhelmed with poorly veiled anguish and despair. She nods severely at you.
Thank you for joining us for dinner. Johan and I were both glad to see you.
Well, thanks for dinner. We will be going now. Dr. Phantasm tipsy. And we still need to get the beacons from the safe. Maelstrom beacon transmitter. Small device that allows the emulator to exchange signals with Maelstrom. It looks neat, but somewhat artisanal. A typical example of Carmine Heights technology. We'll take those. And we will not steal the money. You've got the Maelstrom beacons. Very good. I guess that is all in Carmine Heights. We still could try to find a way to get a car. There are a lot of functional cars in this area, or a lot, 2. We didn't visit the prison. And we didn't visit the science facility. So maybe check out the science facility. The research labs. Nothing we need at the moment. The Relic Terminal. The terminal is attached to the relic that resembles an iridescent disk. There are 5 fields waiting to be filled in on the screen. Enter the color code. Open the code setting interface. Red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue and violet. Well, we have no idea what we're doing here, but we cannot just cancel, apparently. When you enter the code, the computer makes a strange sound. You seem to have chosen the wrong color. Right. I think we need some information to solve that puzzle. Instead of just randomly enter colors. Is there any information to be found? This big box has been left on the table against lab rules. Inside are individually labeled film strips in plastic cartridges. Such film strips usually have short sound recordings. Each cartridge is labeled. There's a projector nearby. Examine the box more closely. A few stray strands of red fur suggest that a cat sits in it regularly. Apart from cat hair, there's a short list in the box indicating there was once a 5th film strip. Unfortunately, the title of the 5th recording has been stricken out. Check the cartridge labeled sterility problem.
The world under the dome poses multiple challenges to humanity, and the sterility problem is one of them. A research team, led by Vera Damerung, has been working a long while to solve this pressing issue. There are 2 lines of research currently open. The Moreau Group is constructing a closed pavilion to simulate conditions outside the dome in order to ascertain whether natural fertilization can occur in those conditions. The second half of the team, forming the Darwin Group, is searching for a pharmacological solution. There has been significant progress in the work of both groups since Mrs. Damerung took over leadership of these research lines.
Let's check them all. Combative Organisms.
As military science advances, there is hope that wars could be resolved without human casualties. Some believe the future lies in robotics. However, our researchers have discovered another option. What about combative animals? Gigantic combative animals. The training of such animals begins with a special diet with an energy value of 9,000 plus kcal daily. Researchers augment the creature's natural aggressive tendencies with hormone treatments in order to prepare them for combat. And the final detail, irradiation. Charged particles from relics provoke the growth of muscle tissue. This completes the transformation of a regular old beast of the woods into a relentless killing machine. Keep away from the cages while visiting the laboratory.
Yeah, that really sounds like a good idea. The substituted reality film strip.
In 1973, Modus presented a generational advancement in magnetic storage with its 640 kilobyte device. This hitherto unthinkably vast storage capacity is enough to solve any task. Inter alia, to create virtual reality systems. Under Dr. Gibson's supervision, A special department is working on both the hardware and software necessary to support a virtual reality system. Ever dreamed of walking through a virtual maze with mind-blowing 16-color graphics? Dr. Gibson's department is calling for volunteers to test the prototype right now. Warning: please consult your physician for advice on possible contraindications.
And incorporeal existence.
Throughout human history, mankind's best minds have pondered the problem of mortality. White Wing employees now have an answer. Our physiologists are able to completely preserve a functioning human brain separate from its natural environment. And this is not a brain in a vegetative state. The patient maintains a wholly functional mind. The research team has also developed a communication interface, allowing the exchange of signals with the outside world. This means that a brain preserved in this way can use speech synthesizers, process visual signals from cameras, and even operate bionic prostheses. The ultimate results of these developments remain to be seen, but this technology may allow us to prolong human life indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Alright then, that's also sounds like a great idea. Right, a color chart. Maybe start with green. Or purple. Computer responds with a quiet clicking sound. It appears your guess was almost correct. What about orange? Almost correct. Purple or violet. The wrong color. Yellow. The computer produces a loud squeak. Well, could be green or orange or maybe blue. Dark blue. Let's go with orange. Almost correct. Let's go with green. Wrong color. Right. This may take a while. let's go with violet. No. Dark blue. Right. Probably need to do some trial and error here, but not record that. And another thing we didn't do is take a look in the prison. See if we can get a car from Lars, maybe. And after that, I'll probably head back to the next location we need to visit. We could get a special implant from the church. Also a unknown location. We might take a look on the way back to Magellan. Right, that's something for the next episode though. For now, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.